welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AWOL, and this video is going to be a little bit weird. I typically don't do the voiceover after putting together a pattern, but today we have to because there was a problem with the sound in the recording. So here we go. This is working off of pattern number 2264 on friendshipbracelets.net, and I felt like I would just keep the whole making the pattern thing together because I worked out two specific patterns and it really took a long time, and well, I just wanted to save this if I could. So what I'm doing here is I'm sorting out. I got the gray color I wanted, and I started at the top of this. I was just going to work my way down and put in the 1/4 on the left hand side, or on the right hand side, get that all done, and then I would be able to do the normal thing where we flip it. But I wanted to make a second pattern because I knew that this could be interesting if we doubled it differently. So you can see here I'm working out like how the rows work, and it took a little bit to kind of get this thing figured out at first, especially because when you double a pattern, right, when you have two, you end up with one additional row in the middle. And so I was trying to get it sorted without that row in the middle at first, and then kind of figure it all out from there. So it started out, and you can see I'm basically counting how many spots there are based on the edge on the right hand side, on the far right, kind of counting out from there. Which in this video, I like, okay, I'll fill in all the rest after the videos are with, and realized that when I got to the bottom half, I needed to actually count and move everything up of the left hand side because everything is moving towards the right. But that's a little far ahead. That's because again, what I did was I made two versions. So the first version is kind of cool. It just mirrors and mirrors again, and that's really fun and makes a really cool look. And I'm kind of excited about the possibility of making that. But then the other version is more like bricks in a wall ish. And that's one of the other weird things here was I thought this was very much like a brick system, you know. So when bricks are together, you typically have the two come together and then the other one is centered, and this one isn't. It's all off by a little bit, and I think it has to be just in order to get the other things to align, which is a little bit unfortunate. But yeah, it took me a little bit to get that sort of figured out, like where everything went with this one. So this is a neat pattern. I kind of want to hear what if you're watching this and you haven't seen the making it yet, I want to hear which one you instinctively say you want to be the one that I make, because I'm curious if I'm going to pick the one that everybody likes best or if I'm going to do the other one. Because and again, at this moment in time, I haven't even began cutting string for this yet, and I have not decided then which of the two to make. So my thought is, if a bunch of people all said the one I didn't make, then maybe I'll make an additional video. I'll come back and actually make the other one, because I honestly I don't know which is like the more thing. So yeah, it goes 2, and then it's the full, then there's 4, then 2. Yeah, it's a really weird like numerical breakdown on how it goes, but there's like 3 different positions of where the black kind of fits into the whole scheme of things. So yeah, it's kind of neat. And as I sit here looking at the video play, it's like I really wish I knew what I had been saying in the original space, because I was really on a roll. I was working pretty good at this. But yeah, that all went right to hell. So Yep. And here I'm trying to figure out where the strings are. I'm gonna put in the underlying strings so that way when I put the whole thing together, it'll be easier. Yeah. Oh, and then this lets me know like there's the white goes into the one row. Yeah. There's an epiphany coming here soon where I realize that the second light one in isn't where it's supposed to be. And yeah, figuring out where that black one had to come from and figuring out that there would be a black dot in the center because it would be a continuation of that row. Like that's kind of normal. So it kind of makes a lot of sense. There, so now I have it in place and it's working. And yeah, what I wouldn't have figured out at this point is that it's like there's an even number of the blacks versus the whites in this, which is pretty cool. It kind of makes it, a little bit easier when it comes to cutting floss, I guess, as well as yeah, kind of hit the other thing. But yeah, it's gonna make this a really fairly easy one to make. Out of the two different designs, the one where everything is just going to the right is probably the easier of the two to make, because there's you'll just do a whole long candy striped way of doing the white, and then the black one will come in and do like 2, then 5, then 4 or whatever, and then yeah, it just kind of changes up like a little gap of a white in between it. Really straightforward, really easy, not much of a segmenting kind of thing at all, but easy. The other one is more chevron based, coming out from the center, and then yeah, still doing the whole splitting it up and changing, and then it changes in the center. So it's not as easy, like not as beginner friendly, but still interesting to say the least. Like it's a cool pattern, and I'm pretty sure this whole video ends like crazy abrupt. So I'm like trying to give you like all the insights, everything I got from making this. Yeah, it all kind of goes a lot faster for me after I get this first quarter thing done. Oh, and after I figured out that it's really straightforward. Like I kept expecting like things in it that was going to make it harder than it is, and no, it's just an easy pattern, and I don't know why it's so easy. I didn't anticipate it. I didn't choose it because I thought it would be easy. I chose it because I thought it'd be interesting to do it in more than one way, and not every pattern really lends itself to that. Like there's some that it's just like, what else can you do with an arrowhead other than to turn it into just a straight up zigzag? Not much, right? But like this one has a couple different ways of doing it, makes it potentially really, really cool. Yeah, I make a few mistakes along the way, catch them pretty quickly. It's not so bad. It's likely to be a kind of a cool looking bracelet, and for a guy with a nickname of AWOL, having something that looks like bricks might be pretty neat. Although I was thinking about doing it in the black and white, like the pattern. I just came across the fact that I have recently bought 100 skeins of white, 100 skeins of black, so I have plenty to actually work with for a while. So that's kind of exciting. So yeah, we can thank our Patreon supporters and YouTube members for that. because yeah, I go through a lot of floss, and I thought that this bag that was been sitting out for a while, I thought it was for a very specific project, and just discovered nope, those were just, you know, because I tend to use a lot of black and white. So cool. I can't go too crazy because I can't find the 100 colors of a dark gray I had. That was supposed to be for another project, and suddenly that's all kind of MIA. I don't know what happened, but I might end up having to use the black instead. I don't know. I don't want to have to tear apart the office looking for it. It's not in the airplane trolley. And that would be the place I would think most likely to find it, but not there. So I don't know. Almost done with getting this whole first quarter, and then you can see it getting changed to the other pattern. And at some point in this video, I do the thing where I thank the Patreon supporters, by the way. So that's kind of like already in the video, but I don't know when, but that's coming up. Yeah, and there's the whole first quarter of it. So I went over to the thing where it says image and then hit duplicate, and that gave me 2 exact copies of the same thing, which is pretty awesome. Got rid of the example, and now I take and copy that whole first quarter, Control C, Control V, use the flip tool and flip it. I go back to the select tool to anchor that layer, and then I can copy out the whole top half. Again, Control C, Control V, flip tool, paste it, and yeah, there's an interesting thing where there is a straight line of whites going horizontally, which I don't know if that's going to show up in the bracelet or not, but it's kind of interesting that it actually exists. And you can see that's a really interesting looking bracelet, and that is doubling it. That is, you know, it is a double, but there's an alternative way of doubling it, and that's what I do with it. This other part is I would assume that each increment of the black would be the same 5 dots. So it does it where it can. And like I said, the beginning part, I'm working everything off the math from the right hand side coming up. But when you get down to the bottom where it tapers in, you can't do that anymore because it's tapering in. So I had to do all of that from the left hand side, right? So that way I would make sure that it stayed in the same mathematical pattern way of doing it. So yeah, that was the one thing where I didn't have in the original video, and realized like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. And yeah, so there was no real quick easy copy and paste and fill this whole thing in doing this side. I thought there might be a clever way, but not really, because of the edges, because of the size, because of whatever. But that's okay. It turns out pretty cool. And I didn't spend the whole video filling it all in. I just kind of showed how I sorted it, and then kind of got on with things and finished it all off, you know, without the cameras rolling. So again, it's gonna end kind of abruptly, but yeah. Oh, and this part here, I knew that putting in the light colored ones is easier going down the straight, whatever. But yeah. And then, yes, 3, 4, 5, then put in the white, then you go back to the grays again. So yeah. And you can see, again, you still have those straight rows. Like this one had. It had that straight little edges every so often. But this one's different. Everything's kind of raining down from right, or from left to right. So, yeah, if you're really comfortable with the right hand knot, yeah, this is primarily going to be all right hand knots, except for on the row where the black is, that occasional white one is going to be going to the left. That's it. So yeah, this is potentially a pretty easy bracelet to make. But yeah. I wish I knew what I was saying. I can see in the video, I can see myself talking to the camera. I have no idea. Oh, there it is. Thanking my Patreon and my YouTube members. So yeah, thanks a lot to those guys for making the videos possible. Yeah, I know this video is a bit of a mess and I apologize, but I kind of wanted to save it because it's a cool pattern and I'm going to enjoy making it, no matter which one I make. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing from you which one you think I should do. All right. Yeah, I end up filling in this whole thing in afterwards. It was kind of cool. It took a little while though, it really, to fill, because again, I didn't get to just do a small segment and copy and paste my way through this one. So but yeah, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I will try to get back to you. Yeah, as always, don't get your strings in a bunch.